This year marked the 84th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. The 3-hour parade took place on Thursday, November 25th, 2010 in the streets of New York. Did you know that the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade began in 1924 when several Macy's employees marched from Harlem to Macy's flagship store on 34th Street in costume? Not only were there floats and professional bands, but live animals that were borrowed from the Central Park Zoo. But then later, in 1927, the live animals were replaced with large animal-shaped balloons, which were produced by the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company out in Akron, Ohio. This is when the Felix the Cat balloon made its debut. Felix was filled with air, but the following year, helium was used to fill all the balloons. In 1928, at the grand finale of the parade, the balloons were released into the sky where they unexpectedly burst. But the following year, the balloons were redesigned so that they would stay afloat for a few days. That year, address labels were sewn right inside the balloons, and after they burst, whoever found and mailed them back received a gift from Macy's. During the 30s, the Macy's parade continued to expand, and the festivities were broadcast on local New York radio stations. And it was in 1934 the very first Mickey Mouse balloon entered the parade. In 1942, the parade was suspended until 1944 due to the lack of rubber and helium, which were needed for World War II. But then in 1945, the parade returned, and in 1948, it was first broadcasted on network television. This Thanksgiving, tens of thousands of people lined the streets to see Santa and his reindeer roll from Central Park to Macy's. The parade featured a lineup of more than 1,600 cheerleaders and dancers. There were 850 clowns and 15 giant character balloons, with newcomers this year of Kung Fu Panda, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and Yes, Virginia, which joined old favorites like Snoopy, Kermit, the Pillsbury Doughboy, and of course Spider-Man. There were 43 novelty balloons, balloon heads, and balloonicles, 12 marching bands, 27 floats, and large performance groups, and a host of celebrities were there too. Kanye West, Jessica Simpson, Gladys Knight, Victoria Justice, Big Time Rush, and many, many more. Have you ever wondered why the practice of releasing the balloons was discontinued in 1933? Well, it's because in 1931, Clarence Chamberlain, an aviator flying from New York City, caught the pig balloon in mid-air just in order to claim a $25 reward. The 1933 edition of the parade was the first recorded for newsreels and shown in theaters around the world. Did you know that when the parade was canceled in 1942, 43, and 44 due to World War II, Macy's donated the balloons that were made of rubber at the time to the government's rubber scrap heap in a ceremony held at New York City Hall. A few more interesting facts that you might like to hear is that in 1947, the holiday classic Miracle on 34th Street brought the parade's magic to theaters worldwide. And then in 1948, when NBC began telecasting the parade nationwide, spectators from coast to coast began referring to the parade as the Macy's Day Parade. And because there was a helium shortage in 1958, the U.S. government asked Macy's to go light on the use of the gas. Macy's then made a decision to inflate the balloons with air and hoist them on trucks with cranes for the journey down Broadway. And it was in 1969 the Macy's Parade Studio moved to its current home, which happens to be the former Tootsie Roll factory, located in Hoboken, New Jersey. And did you know Dino, the dinosaur balloon, was inducted into the Museum of Natural History in 1975 as an honorary member? And in the 1980s, the smaller novelty balloons were introduced, which included the Macy's Stars and the huge 30-foot triple scoop ice cream cone. At the same time, falloons were also introduced. I'm sure you're wondering what a falloon is. Well, it's a combination of a float and a cold air balloon, a highlight of the creativity of the Macy's Parade Studio. Have you wondered what happens when it snows during the parade? Well, in 1989, the parade marched through its very first snowstorm with very few problems at all. The 1990s saw the parade balloons adding new characters from the internet, video games, and contemporary cartoons. Sonic the Hedgehog, Jeeves, and the Rugrats were just a few of these balloons. And did you know that Macy's is the world's second largest consumer of helium? The United States government is the first. In the history of the parade, more than 300,000 Macy employees have participated in the parade. In my video, I mentioned balloonicles. Do you know what a balloonicle is? In 2004, Macy introduced this new parade innovation, the balloonicle. It's a combination of a cold air balloon and a self-propelled vehicle. Well, I hope you found this information helpful, and if you ever have a chance to attend the Macy's Day Parade and head for New York City, you really should. It's a once-in-a-lifetime event.